Mahalo, Mr. Chairman. Vice Admiral Williamson, my comments and questions this morning are related to the Red Hill bulk storage facility and the Navy's entire pipeline infrastructure and fuel operations on the island of Oahu, in my home state of Hawaii. Many of my colleagues, Mr. Chairman, right now might not know about Red Hill, so I want to take just a few minutes to share some background on this facility. The Red Hill fuel storage facility contains 20 steel tanks encased by up to 4 feet of concrete and surrounded by basalt bedrock. Construction on the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility began in secret a year before the attack on Pearl Harbor and was constructed underground to provide maximum protection of the fuel supply. The facility remained classified until 1995. This is the largest single Department of Defense fuel storage facility in the Pacific Theater, and it has the capability to accommodate 250 million gallons of fuel and currently contains approximately 110 million gallons of fuel. There is no question that Red Hill is a strategic and operationally important asset for the U.S. military in Indo-Pacific. However, it is equally or more important for this committee to know that the Red Hill facility, located approximately 100 feet above one of the island's main groundwater aquifers, is safe. The aquifers are sources of potable water and are vulnerable to contamination from an unscheduled discharge of fuel from the facility. Dating back to 1947, there have been dozens of fuel leaks. The worst leak in recent years was in January of 2014, when the U.S. Navy discovered a fuel leak of approximately 27,000 gallons of fuel. I'm bringing up Red Hill today because the Navy is currently experiencing a crisis of astronomical proportions in Hawaii. The Navy's water system is contaminated with petroleum. Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickham's water systems are entirely shut down. Almost 100,000 people are without water. Our military families, people are getting sick, animals are getting sick, and our military families need answers, and the island of Oahu needs answers. Earlier this week, I personally visited, Mr. Chairman, some of the impacted Navy personnel and their families. One mother I met, Amanda, invited me into her home to test the water from her kitchen, water that she and her family had been consuming for a week after the most recent leak on November 20th as a result of operator error. At her invitation, I collected water samples from her kitchen. This water right here. Amanda had her daughter at home in Zoom classes because her school was closed due to the contamination. Her family had been drinking the water for days. Her dog got sick, was vomiting. Her daughter went to the ER. Her son experienced an unusual sore on his mouth. Today, Amanda just texted me, and it's about 6 o'clock in the morning Hawaii time, Mr. Chairman, that she went to the Tripler emergency room last night because of a headache and irritation in her mouth and throat, and her doctor diagnosed her with chemical burns in her mouth. She is worried, rightfully so, about her health and the health of her family. Another military mother, Kelly, emailed me at 9 o'clock last night. She's 6 months pregnant. She had been drinking the water for a week, and she is rightfully so in a panicked state. As you can see here, there is a sheen on this drinking water. This is taken out of somebody's kitchen, Navy family housing at Pearl Harbor. And I can tell you myself that if you smell this water, you would know that there is something wrong with this water. There's a petroleum product in this water. Right now, the Navy is relying on community donations and using water tankers to distribute clean water to residents. You can smell some type of petroleum chemical in the water. The Department of Health and the University of Hawaii has confirmed the petroleum in the water. And there have been concerns on the community for years on the possibility of leaks from Red Hill into the drinking water supply. This is a mother walking up to a water distribution site with a 5-gallon jug so that she can take a shower last night. And yet the Navy seems totally unprepared for this situation that has now impacted the military's own service members and families. And what is happening on the ground in Hawaii right now is absolutely unacceptable. And I understand the operational importance of Red Hill facility to our military today and our military's readiness in the future. However, there have been 3 reported fuel leaks on Oahu in the last 20 months, and we need answers. So I have 2 questions for you. Although the Navy has said there are no indications that the tanks are leaking, many Hawaii residents are calling for the immediate drainage of all the Red Hill fuel tanks. As I stated in my opening remarks, there are over a dozen tanks that contain more than 110 million gallons of fuel. So first question, is it possible to make Red Hill safe for our water supply and our community? If yes, how? What are the steps that need to be taken immediately, and how quickly can they be taken? We know the status quo is not working. My second question is, logistically, How would draining the facility work if we called for the shutdown of the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility? How long would it take? Where would you store the fuel? And at what draining the Red Hill fuel tanks would mean for the United States military? And I know I've run out of time, so I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kahele, you have whatever time is necessary. Well, we think we know where this question is going to go. Admiral Williamson.
Yes, sir. First, sir, I want to say that this has obviously my leadership's full attention, and we're taking it very seriously. The health and safety of our sailors, their families, the surrounding community is of the utmost importance. We share your concerns. We are committed to find the facts, get the root causes, and make the appropriate corrections to anything that we discover. You have our commitment to be completely transparent with the local government, the local people, our sailors, our families, and with this committee. As far as your questions go, sir, I'd love to take that for the record and come back to you with an answer.
It is a question that the people of Hawaii are asking for of this congressional delegation. And we don't know how that would be possible to drain 110 million gallons of fuel. Where would you put it? How would you do it? How long would it take? But these are questions that the people of Hawaii are asking. And it's questions that we need to provide to the governor and state legislators and elected officials and the community in Hawaii. My understanding is that we should be, based on a conversation that the delegation had with the Secretary of the Navy, who is on his way or will be on his way to Hawaii to be boots on the ground and taking charge of this situation directly, that we will be receiving one of the water samples that was sent to a mainland distribution or a mainland testing facility by this afternoon. If those tests come back with some type of petroleum substance, chemical in the water, affirming what the University of Hawaii and the State Department of Health released yesterday, and that their preliminary samples have some type of petroleum in the water. And I can guarantee you, Vice Admiral Williamson, if you smell this water that I allowed the chairman to smell before this hearing started, you would know that something's wrong with this water. But if the Navy's test comes back this afternoon with a petroleum product in the water, what is the Navy going to do?
Sir, be completely transparent with the way forward. I'd have to come back to you with that.
Well, I hope the Navy is taking the next 5 to 6 hours to prepare for that if those tests come back. And I can't emphasize it enough. You know, this is a crisis that we have not seen in Hawaii. You know, Hawaii has a strong military community, but this is something that is affecting the lives of our service members, their families, the public, the community. Red Hill provides about 25%, or the halava shaft and the aquifer underneath the Red Hill fuel tanks. Halava, Waiava, and Red Hill provide about 25% of the entire groundwater aquifer source for the island of Oahu, which has about 1 million residents. It is, we cannot have this water source contaminated by petroleum fuel from the Red Hill tanks, and it's something that we really need to take seriously. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.